thousands of miles apart, thousands of years apart. No contact, no shared language, no trade routes connecting them. And yet, when you lay their oldest stories side by side, a pattern emerges that's hard to ignore. Nearly every ancient civilization believed the universe began the same way. Nothing, then water, then darkness, then a being who brought order out of chaos. Coincidence or something else? Let's look at the evidence, tradition by tradition. In the river valleys of ancient Mesopotamia, one of the oldest written creation accounts in human history describes the universe beginning as a formless mix of fresh water and salt water, existing before sky, before earth, before anything had a name. Order arrives only when a younger generation of gods clashes with the primordial forces of chaos. From that struggle, the world takes shape. Sky separated from sea, land given form and boundary. What's notable here isn't just the story itself, but how early it is. This account predates most other written creation myths by centuries, meaning many later traditions may have been shaped by it, directly or indirectly, as ideas traveled along ancient trade routes. Travel a few hundred miles southwest to the Nile, and you find a different civilization telling a remarkably similar opening scene. Before the world existed, Egyptian tradition describes an infinite, dark ocean of nothingness. Out of that formless water, a single being emerges on a mound of dry land and begins the work of creation, separating air from moisture, sky from earth, giving rise to everything that follows. Once again, water first, darkness first, and a solitary act of separation that turns chaos into order. The details differ, the names differ, but the architecture of the story is nearly identical to what we just saw in Mesopotamia. Now shift east to the early religious texts of the Indian subcontinent. Here, creation takes a different shape, but the same building blocks appear. One widely known account describes the universe emerging from a cosmic egg floating in primordial waters, from which the first being unfolds. Another older hymn describes a giant, singular being whose sacrifice gives rise to the sky, the earth, and every part of the world. Water before land. A single act, sacrifice, rather than separation, that produces order from formlessness. Same skeleton, different flesh. Now cross an ocean these older civilizations never crossed. In the highlands of what is now Guatemala, the Maya recorded their own account of the beginning, generations after the old world traditions we've already covered, with no known contact between the two hemispheres. And yet, before the world existed, the Popol Vuh describes only sky and a vast, calm sea shrouded in silence and darkness. The gods who exist in that stillness speak, and through speech, the earth rises out of the water. Mountains, valleys, and land taking shape where there had only been ocean. No trade route connects the Maya to Mesopotamia. No shared alphabet, no shared merchants, no shared neighbors. And still, darkness, water, and a spoken or willed act that turns emptiness into a world. One more example from ancient China. Before heaven and earth existed, tradition describes the universe as a formless mass, sometimes pictured as a great egg containing yin and yang, unseparated. Inside it, a being grows for thousands of years before waking and pushing the mass apart. The lighter, clearer part rising to become sky, the heavier part sinking to become earth. Separation of sky from earth. Formlessness before form. A single figure whose action divides the world into what we recognize today. 5 civilizations, 5 different languages, different gods, different landscapes, and yet the same recurring elements. Darkness or formlessness at the start. Water as the substance the world is made from. And a single act, separation, sacrifice, or speech that turns chaos into order. There are a few different ways scholars have tried to explain this. Some point to shared human psychology, that any culture trying to imagine nothing naturally reaches for water and darkness, since those are the closest things humans experience to formlessness. Others point to ancient trade and migration routes that may have carried stories much farther than we assume, and others see it as evidence of something deeper connecting these traditions that we don't fully understand yet. We're not here to tell you which explanation is correct, but we'll leave you with this. For civilizations that never met, they arrived at remarkably the same beginning. What does that tell us about them or about ourselves? If you have a theory, we'd genuinely like to hear it in the comments. If this kind of comparison fascinates you as much as it fascinates us, subscribe. We're covering the shared flood myths, the chosen one pattern, and the apocalypse traditions of different civilizations next.